2018 results being released earlier than usual?
Yeah, it is a moment that each of the candidates who sat the exam has been waiting for. But now that it is coming a little earlier, there is a lot of expectation on the process rather than the results, because when we saw the first time the results were released earlier, they were petitions about the credibility of the process. So this time round, same concerns are likely going to be raised because the Ministry of Education, the Teacher Service Commission, and the Kenya National Examination Council have not come out to tell the country on what measures they had put in place, what challenges they had overcome for them to be able to release the results earlier. But then, Brenda, the biggest thing that we are not talking about anytime the results are being released is the welfare of the teachers who are marking the examination. We've concentrated more about the machines that have been introduced to mark the multiple choice questions, but the teachers who are marking the insha and the composition are working under very tough conditions. And it's an issue that I think the teacher unions and the education experts in the country need to take the ministry on.
Mr. Wesaya, when you say that the Ministry of Education, together with the Kenya National Examination Council, has not taken into account the welfare of the teachers who are marking these exams, you've mentioned specifically ancient composition, are you trying to say that this also will affect the results of the KCPE 2018?
Yeah, it is going to affect because it is, it is a subjective process. And if you have a teacher marking an exam from sources within the marking centers, the teachers are up by 4 a.m. and they are in marking centers until 10 p.m. You cannot tell me that the capacity to mark and make judgment remains the same for all those hours. Likely, we are going to have children who are going to score inordinately very low marks or some very high as a function of the tiredness of the teacher. And I'm saying this without fear of contradiction because we have eliminated the moderation and standardization processes that used to happen. So we do not have enough touch points for team leaders to check and see what the individual teachers have done. Because once a teacher has marked a script, the script is taken away, by way of technology. The mark is tallied and taken to a different center where it cannot be tampered with by the teacher who awarded the marks or the team leader at the center.
All right,
so there are likely going to be subjective issues for debate around this exam.
All right, let's talk about the issue of the insha and composition papers being marked by a machine. Are we likely to see also parents and teachers questioning the credibility of these two papers that were done by the candidates?
From what I know, and my sources there tell me that the machines were only used to mark the multiple choice questions. But the insha and the composition were marked manually, unless there's some information that has not been diverged to the nation. But the marking for the writing, the individual writing by the learners was done manually by teachers who are examiners in those two subjects for Kiswahili and English.
All right, Mr. Risa, I was asking you that question because when these exams were almost starting, there were indications by NEC that the insha and composition papers might be marked using the machine, that is the optical machine. But still on that, the credibility of the exams, 20 machines were NEC, the National Examination Council, acquired more machines, bringing to a total of 20 machines. Are we also likely to see parents still raising concerns because NEC said that this was adding more machines was as a way of trying to get rid of some of the concerns that were raised by parents last year?
Yes, the concerns were raised last year and they will be raised this year. And this is because the Kenya National Examination Council does not have a proper stakeholder engagement framework that lets out standard information about processes, what people need to know. In any process, in any organization, there are what people in communication will call the frequently asked questions. Where are the answers on these basic things to make people understand? Some of the parents, the guardians, caregivers are asking these questions because they do not understand what it is. So we cannot claim to be making the examination credible while we are keeping it in misery and we are making everything around it opaque, but then we tell the learners when they are sitting the exam, you need to be transparent.
All right. Let's also talk about the exams being released earlier than usual. And one of the reasons as to why it's being released, and last week was talking to the chairman of NEC, that is Professor George Magoha, his explanation was that parents need to know, prepare for their children who will be joining Form 1. Was there a need to hurry the release of these exams when it comes to marking and also when it comes to these candidates knowing their results?
I don't think that the reason Professor Magoha is giving is good enough to hurry a process that then leads to people committing errors. I started KCPE myself, and I joined secondary school towards the end of February. I don't think I turned out badly because I missed a month of joining secondary school. But that is not the issue. When we say parents need to prepare, and most likely it is from the dimension of giving them ample time to have money to pay fees. But the bigger question we need to be asking, has the Ministry of Education prepared enough for these children in the last years that when the president talks about 100% transition to secondary school, we have these spaces?
All right.
Yes, I'm a chairman of a board of a school in the western side of Kenya, and we are literally struggling to ensure that children are not learning under trees. So some individuals have to come in and supplement what is there. So if children today are learning under a tree, and you are saying that you want parents to prepare so that they get another lot of children to go and learn under another tree again?
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Jonathan Wesai, an education expert, talking to us about the release of the 2018 KCPE results. Of course, we are also keeping a keen eye on the release of these results. And once we know when these results are going to be released, we shall be giving you that live transmission here on KTN News Center. Now, to